Hey guys, we are continuing our study of internal family systems through the workbook. We're due chapter 2 and 3 today. Something I was going to check real quick. Okay. Chapter 2, Guided Meditations. So these have, there's downloadable meditations that you guys can do, and there's also a downloadable workbook. So I'm going to leave links for that in the videos where they're listed, basically. So we'll start with Guided Meditations, Chapter 2. A guided meditation is an audio journey that evokes an altered state of consciousness during which material from the deeper layers of your psyche is more readily available to you. 3 audio recordings of guided meditations are included with this book: Getting into Self, Appreciating Protectors, and Soothing a Triggered Exile. They can be accessed at http://personal-programs.com/self-therapy-workbook-binding-Weiss. The transcripts for these meditations are located in Appendix B. When doing this kind of imagery exercise, it is best to sit or lie in a completely relaxed, comfortable position. Never listen to guided imagery while driving or doing anything that requires full alert attention. If you discover that you have a tendency to fall asleep during guided meditations, it is best to maintain an upright sitting position without head support. This will keep you awake while still allowing deep relaxation. It is especially important to use this position after eating a big meal or if you are tired. The best attitude to adopt for guided meditations is a combination of letting go and staying focused. Letting go allows images from the deeper layers of your psyche to emerge freely. There's no need to try to control the images or sensations that you feel or the words that you hear. It's important not to doubt or discard whatever spontaneously emerges. You might be inclined to discard something because you don't understand it or you think it's unacceptable. Sometimes it is actually a plus to have something emerge that is not immediately clear. Some of the most important information from our psyche isn't readily understandable. When we allow ourselves to be with things we're initially inclined to reject, new avenues of self-understanding can emerge. Please trust that the image or other information has come up for a good reason, and that you don't need to fear your psyche. The other important ability is staying focused. This means keeping on track with the meditation directions as well as with the thread of your own inner journey. During meditation, it is easy to space out or daydream about irrelevant issues. This happens to almost everyone from time to time. If you find that you have lost focus, don't become worried or judge yourself. Just gently bring yourself back to the track of the meditation. Don't assume that all imagery has to be visual. Some people don't visualize very well but are good at body imagery. They can sense body feelings, posture, and movement, and they may also imagine their body in different shapes. This is called kinesthetic imagery. Some people have profound meditative experiences this way. Other people mainly get information through hearing voices, words, or sounds. So if you have trouble visualizing, just notice that information is coming through these other channels. Okay, so I have like a really good imagination. So like all of my parts, I have 5 parts. All of them have an age, which was an age something traumatic happened to me. They all have like, one is faceless. He's just like a little shadow, and he's like a little boy or girl. I don't know what gender it is. It's a genderless like silhouette of like, it literally looks like Gumby, but like it's just gray. Like, and there's no face, like there's nothing. So and this little person like is like me, basically like when I was a kid and like the abuse first started happening like in my family. So like this little kid like takes me and like shows me this like tree, and then it tells me to like look out on the horizon. It doesn't tell me, it just points. So like it doesn't talk, it doesn't look like anything, it has no like expression. It curls up in like a ball, and I ask it if it wants me to hug it, and it says yes, and I hug it. And like, so like whenever I visit this part, like we're in this like big field, and there's this like tree, just this random tree by itself there. Like nothing else is there. It's just this tree and like endless fields and like sky and clouds. And it's just me and this little like kid. And he doesn't talk to me. He doesn't like any. So that's like one part. Then I have a part that's like this like creepy witch. It's like this teeny tiny witch that can like sit on my shoulder that just like picks at me and like says everything's wrong with me. That's my fucking Aunt Debbie. So like, and Kristen, it's like a combination of both of them. So like they like this like witch part is like, because I think they're both witches, to be honest with you. So like it just sits on my shoulder and just picks at me. Like I can flick it away and tell it to like go F off and like get off me. I don't want anything to do with you. So like that's like, I don't mind that part. It doesn't bother me very much. Like, and they don't bother me very much. Like, so like it's an annoyance, but it's not like life shattering, and like it hasn't like ruined me. And like, so like to get rid of it, I just flick it when it bothers me. And so that's like my witch part. It's literally green and like has like a black witch hat, and it just sits on my shoulder and just sits there and like nags and nags and nags and gossips and gossips and gossips, because that's all those freaking bitches do. Sorry. And then I flick it and I flick it and I flick it and I get the frick off of me. Stop talking. You're annoying. So like that's my witch part. And that one knows how old I am. Like we have like an understanding. Like it's aware that it's been an annoyance for decades and decades, and that it's not going anywhere. No matter how hard I try, no matter how many times I apologize, no matter how many times I forgive them, no matter how, it's always there. It's always there, annoying me and nagging and gossiping. So that's the witch. And then there's, let me go get my notebook. I'm actually forgetting some of these. Hang on. These are all my parts, guys. I drew them out. Okay. We talked about the witch. We talked about the little shadow kid. And then there's, where is it? Okay, and then there's the bipolar part. So it's like a face that's like angry on one side. It's literally like two-face, guys. So it's like happy on this side and it's like angry on this side. And so like that face just like appears, and it's like my like frustration with having bipolar disorder, but also my like pride in having bipolar disorder. So like that is my bipolar. It's basically like a theater mask, and like that just appears like if I'm having like an episode or whatever and I'm meditating, and it'll come up. So like that part and I are like fine. There's no like, it's, I don't really know if it's a protector. I don't know what it is, but it's there. It appears. So then we have the giant fist. The giant fist is freaking terrifying, guys. Like I still am trying to understand this part. He doesn't always like show up. It is like this literally just this like giant fist like crushing me. Like crushing me and crushing me and crushing me. And I don't know how to get it to stop crushing me. I don't know what it wants. I don't know why it's there. I'm still trying to figure that part out. And it drives me bananas. Like I hate the stupid fist. Like the fist is terrifying. And so there's the fist. And then there's this like, there's like my favorite part. My favorite part is like it goes skiing, it knows like karate, it jumps off waterfalls, it goes on adventures, like it does all these things, and it like tries to interact with all of the other parts and tries to like tell them like everything's fine, guys, let's just go play. Like, but none of the parts listen to it except for Gumby, the shadowy kid. He always wants to go with the fun part, but the fun part like is too fun. Like he's like intimidatingly fun. So like that's my fun part, and like he's my favorite part. And so, or she, I don't know what it is, but it's basically a stick figure that like morphs into like whatever I wanted to do, and it like does all these cool crazy things. Okay. So then shadowy part. I had this dream one time. So they say if you get really into IFS, you start to have these like, if you like form relationships with your parts and you can identify them and like their voices or their pictures or whatever. So like none of my parts talk except for like the witch part. The witch one just like, and it's not even like audible. It's just like, because that's literally what those freaking bitches sound like. Okay. So like, it's just like nonsense, garbage and drama constantly. And I can't even hear it. So I just like flick it and tell it to go away. So like my shadowy part, I had a dream one time of, it says he was traveling through these light tunnels, like time traveling through these like light tunnels. And then all of a sudden he gets like to the night sky, and there's like stars everywhere, and there's like a moon, and it's like beautiful. Like it's like the most beautiful sky like God has ever created. Like I don't know if I'm in the Garden of Eden. I don't know what happens, but basically I'm like traveling through these tunnels, and then like I see this like beautiful sky, and like it's just a shadowy kid, and he's just like floating in space, and he's just looking at the sky. So that was one dream. And then okay, so then there's like, where is that one? Yeah, so my therapist told me to like put all these like in a notebook. So, okay. So then there's usually like Richard Schwartz, when he does his, it's always like, yeah, so this is my picture of Gumby going through like light tunnels, and then he sees this like starry, cloudy, like beautiful sky. Okay, and then there's, okay, so like there was like one time where like I was blocked and I couldn't get like to the beach, and it was like devastating for me because the beach was like my happy place. So there was like basically like the base of a path and like all this like tall grass, and there was like wildflowers after that, just like millions and millions of like beautiful wildflowers. And I don't even know how long I was on this path for, but I was on this for a very long time. And then all of a sudden there's like this big effing like stop sign, like just like blocking me, and I can see it's just like right in front of the path, and I can't leave the path. I can't go out across the wildflowers and get to the beach. I can't go across the tall grass to get to the beach. There's just this like giant like big no you cannot go sign, and like I keep like hitting it, and it just keeps like warping, and it's like stuck, and I can't get to the beach, and it's like frustrating. I'm just sitting here. I'm like, why can't I get to the beach? I don't understand why I can't do, like, why can't I push this thing over and go to the beach? And then I try to like go to the wildflowers, and they like disappear. And then I try to go to the grass, and it disappears, and there's no way to get to the beach, but I can see it behind this giant block, like blockaded. Like it's literally just like, this is what it looks like. Okay, so this is the beach. This is me on the path, the tall grass, and it turns into wildflowers, and there's just this big stupid thing that will not move, and I can't get to the beach, and it's so frustrating. So that was like another dream. Okay, what else do we have? Yeah, so I've been doing IFS for 4 years now. Okay. With 2 different therapists, and then on my own. Okay, then we talk about my brother and how he disappoints me, but he also makes me happy. Like he's my favorite family member, but whatever. And then we talk about my mom and her abuse, how I think she's sad, how I think she's a liar, how she overindulges in food and shopping and TV. Like she just overindulges in stuff that's sinful and like not even good for her. How it's impacted my behavior. She gave me physical spine adjustment issues. My self-concept with weight, untrusting. I feel unheard and unloved by her. Then my dad, he called my mom dumb. He said, we're dumb. He was a workaholic. He didn't deal with his dad's loss. He is very neglectful. Ways that this impacted me. I was upset because he missed events in my life, all important events, all my dance recitals, all of like my piano recitals. He conveniently like decided to be a dad and get like a normal job like when I was in high school, and then he conveniently was able to go to all of my brother's like little league games, and like that wasn't freaking fair. Whatever. And then he used to constantly say like we had no money, we were going to be homeless. So like I literally thought we were going to be homeless like all of my childhood. Like that's why my dad was working so hard, because if he doesn't work hard, we're going to be homeless. Like that's the fucking shit this asshole put in my head. Okay, then I was afraid to ask for help with my homework, because every time I did this, he would freak out. He would like, if like there were times where he was helpful with homework, but most of the time he would just get like impatient and angry, and like this is my mom's issue, and my mom has to take care of the kids and work full time apparently, while he goes out and like goes to freaking strip clubs, like travels all over the freaking country. Like he's a dickhole and like works. Like he's literally decided to be a bachelor after he got married. Take like some, and I remember this day. I was 2 years old, and like my dad had just told my mom that she was taking, this is my earliest childhood memory. Like this is how like devastating this was to our family. So like I remember my dad coming home, them getting into like some huge argument, and like God like revealed this to me later on in life, and he said that was the day that your dad told your mom that he was going to be working 75% of the time and traveling. traveling 75% of the time for work for this stupid crane manufacturing piece of shit company. And so he chose that because it was a secure job. He'd have benefits. He'd be able to provide for his family. But guess what? He wasn't with his family. He wasn't with his family 75% of the time. Like, what kind of freaking husband is that? What kind of freaking father is that? Like, if you are a man and you're working, you're literally traveling 75% of the time for work and you're neglecting your family and your wife, you're not a husband. Like, just get fucking divorced right now, because if you're choosing your job over your family, like, you shouldn't have one. You don't deserve one. You don't. It should have been taken away from him, honestly, because I think that's the only way he would have learned from his mistake, because it took him decades, and he took decades of my mom begging him. And this happened right after my grandpa died, right after his dad died. He got some crazy notion in his head that he needed to travel 75, this opportunity presented itself and it seemed very enticing. And he basically said, F you family, this is how I'm going to take care of you. I'm just not going to be around. So I remember him come. I'm going to finish the story. Okay. So all I remembered for years was the way the floor felt, the way my dad's face looked, and my mom's hair going through the door. I remember her leaving. I guess she spent the weekend at my grandparents' house, her parents' house, because she was so upset with my dad. And I remember them bringing up the word divorce. I remember and I just remember being alone in the house with my dad, and my mom literally just walked out, and I had no idea what was going on. And apparently they didn't think that was going to affect me, but it affected me fucking lot. So I was 2. Most people don't remember shit when they were 2 years old, but I fucking remember that. I fucking remember everything, all of my senses. I remember what my dad's face looked like, and it was sad and scary. I remember seeing my mom's hair go through the door. I remember not thinking she was ever going to come back. And I was stuck with this guy who basically just told our family that he doesn't even want to be around us. And and I remember how cold the floor felt in the kitchen. And I remember feeling I wanted to throw up and poop at the same time. And I was my dad was crying. I wanted to cry, but I didn't think I should because he was crying. And I just I didn't know what to do. And I think he picked me up and we played a game or something. I don't even remember what happened after that. I just remember that one moment and it being very terrifying. So anyway, but when he was home and he was asking for help with homework, if we didn't know how to do something, he would immediately go to my mom and say, you're not teaching these kids, you're not helping these kids with their homework, they're going to be stupid just like you. This is what this dickhole said to my mother. So then I remember my mom immediately, after every time he would call her stupid, because apparently her dad called her stupid all the fucking time, is she would just start eating food. She would just eat and eat. That was her comfort, was eating food. And then eventually she would shop. That was her escape was to shop, to get out of the house. She would just shop, and she would shop to a point where she forgot her children in the store and didn't even know the hell they were. I don't think she did it to Josh as much as she did it to me, because for whatever reason, Josh's life was fucking cushy and mine was a nightmare. So we had very different childhoods, even though we were raised by the same fucking parents. We were treated so differently, so fucking differently. It's not even fair. So anyway, so because of that, if I was struggling with something, I refused to ask for help in my house. I would ask kids at school. I would ask my grandparents. I would ask literally anyone but my mom and dad. Because I would ask my mom, but I would never ask my dad. I would ask him different things. I would ask him questions that he could help me research on an encyclopedia or in the dictionary, or he might actually know the answer to. But if it was specifically schoolwork, he would take that personally and then blame my mom somehow. It's her fault that we're not. He's such a moron. He's literally a moron. I know it's the day after Father's Day, but fuck my dad. Seriously, fuck my dad. Anyway, okay, so I craved attention because he was gone constantly. I didn't feel important. Okay, this one's good. So this is my trailhead of my whole family. So I'm at the edge of the trail. There's these thick trees. I'm in the woods, and there's 2 paths, and one path goes to my dad and one path goes to my mom, and I have to choose which path to go to get to my brother. And so my dad has this I don't know, this nonchalant, I don't give a shit face, and my mom has this angry whatever face, and I don't really want to go to either one, because so I'm stuck. I'm stuck. And then all of a sudden, like this, like these woods like clear, and it's like I can see through them, and I can see my brother on the other side of the path, and I just have to get to him, and I don't know which way to go to get to him. Do I go through the angry mom to get to my brother, or do I go through the dad that doesn't give a shit to get to my brother? And so like I sit there and I like fall to my knees and I pray to God and I say, like, can I just cut through the middle of the woods? I don't want to go to either parent. I don't want to go to either of them, God. Like, please just let me get to my brother. And he says, no, Chelsea, you have to pick a path. And I feel like I was there for days because I couldn't pick a path because I didn't want to go down either one. And then I think eventually I go to my dad's path because I know it's not an angry path. It's just like a neglectful path, and neglect is better than anger and abuse. So I go through the neglect path, and then I eventually get to my brother, and he has like all these faces, like this like goofy face, and then he has like this like smiley face, and then he has a sad face. Like he has like normal emotions, like not just one or the other. And then I give him a hug, and like I leave him there because he has to stay with my dad or my mom in like the middle of both of them. And so I like tell him to be brave, and then I walk down the freedom path. And the freedom path is like, it's beautiful. Like the trees aren't as like clustered together, like they're more spread out. And there's this like beautiful pond at the end of it. It's like this waterfall. Okay, so this is the path. So this is me. This is the thick forest. That's my mom's path. That's my dad's path. Josh is over here with these like goofy faces. So like I go to my dad's path and I see Josh so I can avoid this whole path altogether. And then I go here and it's spread out. And then this is the waterfall in the pond. Okay. Okay, so then I found out while I was doing this, like it talks about like conflict resolution and witnessing. And this is like when I did Richard Schwartz stuff, not when I did this like other one. So this was done in 2019, April 9th, 2019 is like when I dated this. Okay, so like I found out that like I wasn't very brave because of all this stuff that was going on. So there's like things that I like gave up, like dance for one. Like I've posted lots of dance videos on here that you guys have seen, and like so I used to dance literally since I could walk. Like at 2, like my mom put me in like I think some combo kids dance class where I did like tap, ballet, and like jazz or something. And it was like at St. Francis High School, like in their like cafeteria or gym. I don't know. It was like some community like dance class that was either like super cheap or free. I don't know. So that's where it started. And then like once I passed the toddler stage and we like realized that this was something I wanted to pursue and I was really good at, then like we put like I literally like I'd watch Disney movies and then I'd make up choreography or I'd try to like copy it. Like if you've seen Save the Last Dance, like the dance that she does, it like I memorized how to do that dance. Like I watched that scene over and over and over again, and I just kept practicing it until I perfected it. And I remember going to like my proudest moment with my in-laws was I was like watching the movie with my sister-in-law to be Rachel. I was only dating my husband Aaron at this time, and she was telling me like how like she wanted to be a dancer and like all this stuff. Like her daughter is in dance now, one of them, and so like I think both of them actually, but one for sure. And so like she's like telling me like how she wanted to be like a dancer and like all this stuff, and like that she loves this scene. As like I like got up and I started like doing the dance for her. She's like, are you kidding me right now? I was like, I like memorized this. Like I've been like I was like I practice this like every day after school sometimes. And so like she was like super impressed with me. And so like I thought that was pretty cool. And so yeah, and then yeah, so I just like I'm obsessed with dance. So like basically I found out there was a part, I think it was the little shadowy kid that was really mad at me for quitting dance. And so like when I was 12, our dance like academy, Young Dance Academy we had a really bad teacher in my class. And like I think I was just in jazz at this point because it was getting to be too much because I was getting more homework. Like, it was easier when I didn't have as much homework in grade school, because like I could dance like 3 days a week. I could memorize like 3 to 7 dances for recitals, and like it was fine. But like I don't know, it got too hard, and like it was too much, and like this teacher was just awful. Like, she told this girl she couldn't be in dance class anymore. And this wasn't like, I don't know. Like, I don't like competitions. I don't like things that are competitive. I don't like things that you have to like do to get like a reward. Like, I just think it's like the opposite of like what God wants. Like, so anyway, so she kicked this kid off of our, like, she made this girl, she literally bullied this girl who was my friend, by the way. Like, all of the kids in my dance classes were my friend, but this girl, like, in particular, was very heavy, and like she's just like a chubby little kid. Like, she's still developing. Like, we're 12. And so like she like told her like she was too fat for the costume, or we couldn't find her size in the costume or something like that. And I was like, that sounds like bullshit. And so like I'm like looking at this girl, and she like believes her, and she's like devastated. She can't do the recital. She can't continue dancing the choreography. Like, she can keep coming to class because her mom's paying for it, but like she can't actually perform with the group, like, because we can't find a like costume in her size. And I was like, so I was like upset about that. And then so like she just stopped coming. Like, she stopped coming. Like, I didn't get to say goodbye to her. Like, I don't even know what happened to her. So like, if you're out there somewhere else and you see this YouTube video, like, I helped you get revenge, girl. I did. Okay, so like basically, like, we were told we all had to have our hair like long enough to put like in this like ponytail, because we needed to wear this like lime green like glittery scrunchie in our hair with like our little like whatever costume. So like the day of my recital, I went to my grandma Heidi's house, and she did my makeup for the dance recital. And then I said, Grandma, I'd like to cut my hair. And she's like, what? And I was like, yeah, I want to cut my hair. And I was like, she's like, how short do you want to cut your hair? I was like, I want it to be too short to put in a ponytail holder. And she's like, don't you have to have your hair in a scrunchie for? I was like, no, it's not a big deal. I knew I was going to get in so much trouble. I didn't fucking care. So like she cut my hair off super fucking short. I like show up. I can't get the scrunchie in. And so like I show up, it's like on my wrist or something. And like I like come in there, and like this teacher just like grabs me aside and just starts like screaming at me. Like, how dare I do this? How dare I cut my hair? Like, before the recital, her like precious recital that we all needed to have our hair in scrunchies. Like, oh my God, this woman was a nightmare, you guys. And so like I'm just sitting here like patiently listening to her, but then I start crying because I'm a kid and like I'm not that strong. So like I'm like crying, and I'm like letting her scream at me, and like I'm not even like fucking saying anything, this crazy bitch. And so like then she just like storms off. She's like, well, you're gonna have to dance at the back, or we're gonna have to rearrange the whole choreography so no one sees you. And I'm just like looking at her like, you're a fucking crazy bitch. Like I didn't say that, but it's just like, okay, sure, put me in the back. Like, I don't fucking care. And so like she like leaves, and I'm like proud of myself, and like proud that literally all of these parents and kids saw this woman have this fucking meltdown like a psychopath in front of everybody. And like I'm pretty sure she got fired after that, and I hope to God she did. So anyway, so like I we had photos after this happened. So all of my mom has like a button. It's like my favorite fucking button, you guys. Like, I don't think it's here. I think it's at my mom's house in my like memory box. Aaron and I had like a big memory. Like, we're gonna have, that's like another thing we're gonna have to do. Like, when we divorce, we condensed all of our memories into like one memory box, and it's like ginormous. And so like my button's in there somewhere. But there's this button of me like in my little like outfit with just like makeup streaming down my face. It's like super red, but it was totally worth it. I'm like so proud of myself. So that was my last recital and my last time dancing for Young Dance Academy or any dance studio. I don't know. Anyway, so it said that it was mad that I quit dance. So like I was like, well, I did all these other dances. Like I took salsa, and I took swing, and I took ballroom, and I took line, and I took square, and I took contemporary in college. Like I did all these other dances. Like, yeah, almost even minored in dance. Like I took history of dance. Like, so anyway, so like it said like you need to dance more, Chelsea. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna dance more because my part is mad at me for not dancing. This was like a gift God gave me, and I'm not using it, so the part's mad at me. So like my theory is that these parts are your conscious in God. Like communicating to you. And if you just listen to it and you meditate and you pay attention, you can find all of these things, all these traumas, all these angers, all of these like past hurts, whatever they are. So like the thing I love about I love everything about IFS, but like one of my favorite things about IFS when I was like reading about this, like originally and researching it, Dr. Richard Schwartz was like in the audio or whatever recording, he's like talking about how he would go into prisons and talk to literally like the most psychotic, crazy prisoners, like people who have like murdered like literally tons of people. Like he would talk to them and he would like literally slowly, like therapeutically, like work out all their freaking issues. And this person isn't a psychopath anymore. And they understand why they killed people. And they understand like they're not like some like demonic crazy person anymore. So like, I don't know. So I think Richard Schwartz is an angel. And I think anybody else who does IFS is secretly an angel undercover. That's my theory. Okay. So like after that, I was like, I want to do IFS in prisons. Like that would be so cool. Like I'm like, I'm going to volunteer at prisons and do IFS and like help all these prisoners. Like, okay. So I think the rest of this is more like educational. I don't think it like shows. Okay, so this is when I first started. My parts were like really rough, guys. So like I had a black musical note was one of them, which was the dancing, I guess, and singing. And then I had a world on a thimble, which was my dad. And like traveling the world and like seeing all these things and these thimbles. He'd bring back a thimble from all the places, all the states he went to. He never left the country, but he went to different states. And that was like our thing is he'd bring me back a thimble. And he built like this like thimble holder. Like he used to do woodworking in like high school. And he built like this like thimble. It's just like a display case for thimbles. And my mom and I have no idea what happened to like my thimble collection. It's like a mystery. Like she thought I had it. I was like, I haven't seen it since I was a kid. She's like, well, I don't know where it would be. Like we couldn't have gotten rid of that. And I was like, I hope we didn't get rid of it. So like, I have no idea where it is. She doesn't know where it is. And she has like 3 storage units in a basement full of shit and a garage full of shit. So like, who knows if we'll ever see it again. Okay. And then I had a white seashell, which I don't know what that represented. I want to live by the ocean. It's a protector. The thimble is to fly away, to run away, want to travel more. Musical note is an alliance, fight or alliance, want to play ukulele, want to dance. Oh, ballet shoe was another one. I miss dancing. And then bipolar black and white hat. So it's like a witch hat. So I'll show this to you guys. Okay. So like this is my like bipolar hat, my dance shoe, my musical instrument, my thimble with the world on it, and then my seashell. So those are my 5 things, and they eventually like became deeper and more understanding. Like the hat split up and it was a witch and my bipolar like theater mask, and then ballet shoe became like I miss dance, and that was like a little kid, and the music I think was partially the little kid, and then musical note actually probably could have been my mom because she used to sing to me before bed every night. And then the seashell, I don't know, my like dreams and hopes, I guess. And then the thimble, obviously my dad. So that's like when I first started. So like your parts may start like really small and not make any sense. They might just be like little symbols and then eventually grow into something bigger. Let's see, is there anything else in here worth sharing? I think this is just talking about what exiles and firefighters are. Grandparents, Jay, friends, and Aaron are people who were there to help me, but Aaron was also a huge trigger to me. Okay, so when Grandpa Art died, that's when my first part formed, because that's when my mom became abusive to me. So the shadowy figure's 13. My quiet part that doesn't say anything, that just shows me and talks to me in this field with this tree. Okay, guys, so that's like everything with that. So we're going to finish this. Okay, did I finish chapter? Yes. Okay, so I finished chapter 2. This is already 34 minutes, so I guess we're not going to do chapter 3 today because chapter 3 is really long. So I guess we're just going to do chapter by chapter and see what comes out. Thanks for listening, guys. Have a good day. Bye.